It's scorching hot in Soweto, and this is where Thando Makhubu, Soweto Creamery business, should actually be making more profit. But that is not the case because the business has been battling with stage 1 to stage 6 of rolling blackouts since its inception. Last year, Thando had plans around growing the business, but those plans have since been dashed with the ongoing blackouts that are negatively affecting his business on a daily. He's had to put measures in place to try by all means to keep afloat. This being part of other businesses, small businesses that have been buckling under pressure to try keep afloat because of the rolling blackouts. I'm going to bring the man of the moment into the conversation now, Thando Makhubu, who joins us from his establishment, the Soweto Creamery here in Soweto. We know very well that business should be booming right now as we speak, but load shedding has affected the way you do things, and you've had, of course, to also put contingency measures in place to try by all means to keep afloat in these trying times. How are you keeping up, Thando?
Hello, Mr. Legodi. I hope you are okay. Load shedding is a real issue for us, and as you know, we sell ice cream, and ice cream is a fragile product. It needs to stay in the freezer all the time. If there's no electricity and if the freezer isn't working, it's going to be an issue. So we find ourselves spending a lot of money running the generator to save our stock.
The last time you did not have a generator, with this heightened levels of load shedding, did that see you then having to take the little money that you've made out of the business and invest into buying a generator?
There was a time, I think last year, where we had a problem with electricity, and me and the team decided that it's going to be a smart decision to invest in a generator. And now that we own it, we can see that load shedding is an issue, and we are fortunate and lucky that we did invest in one. Imagine if we didn't invest in one.
Did you have to then tweak the way you do things? I know very well that some of the products that you sell are very fragile and they are sensitive to the on and the offs that have been playing out, and even a generator cannot keep up with some of the ice creams that you sell. Did you have to tweak your menu? Are there some of those items on the menu that you've had to do away with because we find ourselves here?
So we have 3 freezers, but then we are only using 2 freezers. We have one upright freezer, which is really harsh on our generator. So we've had to switch that one off. And then we also have a product that's called Oreo Fantasy. We've had to discontinue it at the moment because of load shedding. That product needs the freezer to be on 24/7.
Then let me in on your plans. I know you had big plans when this business started, and the president also mentioning you in his State of the Nation address that you've used that 350 SRD grant to start a business. Your plans, have they really more or less materialized, looking at the fact that this load shedding is unabated?
Obviously, our plans as Soweto Creamery was to branch out, and our plans are still to branch out, but then load shedding is slowing us down. So it's going to take much longer for us to get where we want to get to.
Just your message to government, to ESCOM, and those that are in charge, in terms of, businesses, small businesses like yours that are struggling to keep afloat due to what is happening. What would be your message to them? What would you like to see happen in the immediate?
My message to them is to ask them nicely, please fix the load shedding issue. It's affecting a lot of people, and if we can't fix it now, we are going to find ourselves in a real problem as a country. So please fix it as soon as possible.
Thando, thank you very much for your time. He's, of course, the owner of Soweto Creamery, and I must tell you that it's really, really slow. Even when we got here, the gates were locked because you can imagine that the business and Mama, who's helping in the house, is not anticipating that people would keep flocking here when the business has not been doing well. I'm going to ask my colleague Herbert to just pan a bit to show you the establishment here where we are. The last time it was booming. People were sitting from, different parts of of Johannesburg and Gauteng in general to come and get a taste of Thando Makhubu's nice creamery or ice creams, but that is not the case as we speak right now. This environment is empty. And since we got here, there haven't even been one person coming through to really come and get their hands on Thando's ice cream. But they remain hopeful. As a family, Thando is running this business with his mom at the helm and helping him out. And of course, most of the employees that fall under his business are family members. Some of them they've had to really go months without getting their salaries. But because they are families, they tend to understand what is happening right now. But you heard him, a plea. Even though it was a generous plea from his side to say that they need intervention as small businesses. We keep hearing people encouraged to go out and start businesses so as to ensure that they create employment, but that is not going to happen when we have challenges of load shedding and the rolling blackouts like we do at this moment. For Katlego, Legodi, SABC News, Soweto.